All right, so this video is a sort of yoga, somewhat inspired flow sort of workout routine. So once you've learned how to be able to find the pressures in your foot, especially the inside of your heel, and be able to keep your ball of foot as well, being able to do a long exhale and being able to reach, this is a good way to sort of start to be intentional with feeling those movements. Literally, you can do any combination of these things, as creativity is really the limitation to how you can put these things together. This is for a client, and I figured it'd be easier to just go through like one time through. I'm going to go a little bit of faster pace than I would recommend. You'd probably do this in a yoga style format, but all the equipment you'll need is probably some type of mat, and either one or two dumbbells. You're going to be doing sort of a floor push variation. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so as I'm making this, there's no music on. I'm in silence. But so I apologize if whatever I say or do is not to the beat of the music that I put on this video. Yeah, because that might happen. All right, so the first thing we're going to start with is going to be a mountain pose. Mountain pose traditionally would be taught as being having like a string going from your feet, from your heels through your head, so you're up as tall as you can to the heavens and down, tall, pushing down through the earth. What I'm actually going to want you to do, as I'm in all gray, is I want you to feel like you're actually sort of sinking down into your heels. So you've got like 80% in your heels, 20% in your ball of feet. So what's going to happen is you're going to feel like as you go to take a breath in, I want you to feel like you're going to be taller. As you exhale, you're coming down. I'm going to face the camera. So we're going to do that for about 4 breaths to start with, meaning we're going to go keeping the hands here. If this feels tight on the neck, then go ahead and just keep your hands here. Everything's sort of loose. Okay, now let's actually switch it. Let's stay here. Take a breath in while you're heavy and down on your heels. Here we go. Taking a breath in again as we go down. Let's get a sense of how like your back, this whole area sort of sinks down into your heels right there, okay? And you're sort of keeping the arms sort of loose. They're out in front of you here, so that you stay in this unshrugged position. Don't let the shoulders right up. Keep them shrugged. Don't try to yank them down and pull them back. Just, they're staying down, okay? So we're coming. The full exhale. From here, we're going to keep that same rhythm going. I'm going to put the right foot back, knees slightly bent. What you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand and you're going to reach it for the space, like you're just reaching for the space on the inside of that right foot. So again, not being too strong with that reach, you're just coming back and you're going to go exhale, heavy on the heel. May feel a little bit of stuff happening on the backside of that right hip. That's okay. You're going to take a breath in. Instead of feeling like you're trying to pull yourself down, feel like you're just sort of nudging this foot over that way. Cool. Don't reach too hard with that left arm. It's like this. You're just reaching for the space on the inside of that foot. There you go. Cool. After about 5 of those, you'd switch. Okay. And then next one from here, once we've gone through those the little hinges going back, and then in that case I'm going to call them a staggered campo hinge. Then we're going to go back to the ground. Okay. And so from here, what you're going to do, you're going to start with one hand, and it's going to be a little bit behind that hip. Okay. So we got our legs here. If this feels tight, just knock that leg down a little bit. And this foot needs to be fairly flat on the ground, not leaning out to the side. So what you're going to do with this hand sort of behind your hip, meaning that's next to my hip, behind my hip. So it's behind my hip here, and I'm going to push down into the ground. So it feels like my ribs are sort of being pushed over that way. I'm making sure that I stay heavy on this right hip, and I'm trying the best I can to keep my knee down there. Take a breath in. So as you do this, what you should feel is a couple things. One is you push down the hand, you're going to feel some abs right here. You're going to feel yourself start to get heavier in that heel, which is good, because you're going to feel a little bit of some side oblique abs there. And you want to let yourself just sort of fall back onto this heel. So as you head over this way. So as you take that breath in, you should feel a little bit of space expansion, sort of in the low of your left back and that space between your sort of upper shoulder blade. Again, staying unshrugged. Do about 5 on that side. And then often I'll have people switch to the other side, but for some situations, I'd only have them do the right side. Okay. While we're staying down on the ground, I'm just going to change the angle a little bit. This is where you need the weights. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to come back, nice and easy, okay? Yep. All right. You're going to get a little heavy into the heels, so you just feel like you're sort of melting into the ground. Get a little something for your head if you need it. Okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to have both arms up, staying unshrugged. You're going to have one arm come down. The whole time, whenever arm is up, it's like you're reaching for the ceiling. Okay? Think about reaching through your armpit rather than reaching through your hand. If you reach through your hand, we have a tendency to want to shrug our shoulder. So if you reach through your armpit up towards the ceiling, is it tend to stay in that lower shrugged position. Okay, so once you've got that, then we're going to go into sort of a somewhat looking restful position, but it's much harder than it seems. It's going to be the Rockback Lazy Bear. So what you're going to do, you're going to start here on your hands, but then what you're going to do is you're going to sort of flip the arms over and put your elbows where your hands were. You're going to shrug your shoulders. You're going to unshrug them. You're going to, as you exhale, it's like you're pretending the ground is sort of pushing you back up towards the ceiling as you exhale. So it's a mix of ground pushing you up that way, so your shirt tag goes up towards the ceiling, and at the same time as you exhale, you're going to feel like your ribs are sort of hugging yourself. Take a breath in, and then you're going to gently push yourself back towards your hips. Your shoulders are going to get pretty tired right here. You're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Okay, so after about 3 sets of that, we're going to get back up onto our feet. So from here, what you're going to do is we're going to go into sort of a split squat stance. So we're going to start with the left foot forward, and what I want you to do, I want you to feel like you're sort of heavier in your heel, so your shin is a little bit behind your ankle to start with. And then your back foot is up. Now, the distance we're looking for that is for the ability for your knee to sort of drop down. If your knee ends up a little bit up here, like, that's okay. don't worry about it. It doesn't need to be straight down. I just want you to be able to feel like you can drop down into that left heel. So from this angle, it's going to be here. You're going to feel like at first you need to drop that hip, sort of pull it down to that heel. Then from there, you're coming down, pulling yourself down to that heel. On this back foot, what I want you to do is I want you to be able to feel your pinky toe and your big toe. And you're going to get to a point where either you can't hold those positions, which is fine, or you're going to find that you start to lose your pinky toe or you just run out of motion back there. That's okay. The depth can be, to start with, right here. That's fine. Don't feel like you have to go lower. I just want it to be a straight down motion as much as possible. And then right here, unshrugging, reaching. If you feel your neck, bend your arms. You're breathing. 5 breaths. Trying to stay dropped, and a little bit of reach. If you come up, well, you're going to feel some pressure here. You get that breath and it feels like it can't fill, so you go down. Feel like it sort of expands with that breath. Cool. So you're going to do about 3 sets of 5 breaths on both sides. Then what we're going to do is we can move it over to the wall. So I suppose I kind of lied saying that all you needed was a mat and the weights, but because usually I use a slant board, but for the sake of staying with the same equipment, we're just going to stay with the mat. So what's going to look like? I'll set you up over here. So we need to have the front of our feet elevated. Okay. So we can use a wall. Hopefully you've got one. So you're going to lean against the wall, and what you're going to do is you're going to get heavy on the heels so that you feel like the back somewhat flattens against the wall. And stay there. Take a breath in, out. Feel like you got all the air out of your lungs. Keep a little bit of that ab tension that you got. Okay. What you're going to do is hands here, a little bit of a reach, keeping them loose. As you exhale, you're going to go down, staying heavy in the heels. Heavy in the heels. You're going to feel like you're running out of room fairly quick. And this is going to really help the ankles, lower back, but it really helps the front of your pelvic floor sort of capture a position so your guts aren't sort of going wherever they want. You can control where your guts are going on the front of that pelvic floor. About 5 breaths. Push through the insides of the heels to come back out of it. So that's what I've got. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns about it, and or any feedback as to what you think might be another interesting move to put in there. All right, have fun.